began around the year 1600 and became the leading musical genre of the 17th and 18th centuries. Claudio Monteverdi is considered to be the first great composer of opera, and he served as maestro di cappella at the Doge's Palace in Venice between 1613 and 1643. The location of Monteverdi in Venice at this particular time undoubtedly contributed to the growth of opera and its foundations in Venice. Initially, opera performances were dependent on aristocratic or religious patronage and were staged in palaces and courtyards of noble homes. Early performances for the public were located in playhouses, but starting in 1637 with Teatro San Cassiano in Venice, theaters were built specifically for opera. To understand the origins of theater design, Vitruvius's early classical work, De Architectura, is crucial. In the chapter concerning theater design, he recommended an area where the voice is not impeded by reverberation. Vitruvius believed that sound moved in concentric circles and rose in regular stages unless obstructed. While sound waves actually travel in a sine wave, his basic assumptions were correct. Sound will travel outward from the source continuously unless obstructed by a surface, such as a wall, where it will then reverberate in another direction. Due to his theories of sound, he reasoned for stepped seating in a semicircular theater, believing that sound waves would reach spectators clearly without obstruction. He also differentiated between the acoustic qualities of building materials such as wood and stone. It is likely through trial and error that he noticed the positive effects of wood partitions in stone theaters, creating balance between absorption and reflection. Following Vitruvius's classical example was the architect Andrea Palladio. His Teatro Olimpico in Vicenza, designed and begun in the year of his death, 1580, was a reconstruction of the ruins of Roman theaters he studied. Palladio illustrated Daniele Barbaro's 1556 version of Vitruvius's De Architectura and synthesized his understanding of the classical examples with new ideas of his own. What differentiates Teatro Olimpico from ancient open-air theaters is its placement inside a pre-existing building. Palladio adopted the semicircular Roman amphitheater into a slightly flattened version. The most reasonable explanation for this shape was space limitation. Because the theater is an enclosed room instead of open air, there is a possibility for more reverberation. However, sound in the auditorium is clear due to the absorptive quality of wooden materials and the longer distance between walls. Sound waves would die out before traveling between the sides. Two subsequent opera house designs, the U-shaped auditorium and the horseshoe shape, developed from Palladio's Teatro Olimpico. Giovan Battista Aleotti's Teatro Farnese in Parma, from 1617 to 18, lies in a large hall that was once an armory. Aleotti worked within this rectangular shape by lengthening the semicircular auditorium into a U. The theater was the largest of its kind in the 17th century and was capable of holding 3,000 spectators. The theater was made of acoustically sound materials such as wood and plaster, painted to resemble expensive marbles. There are, however, two notable flaws in Aleotti's design. First, the size of the auditorium would have made it difficult for spectators to hear across such a large distance. In addition, the U-shaped design caused a flutter echo, as the smooth surfaces of two parallel walls would have made sound waves reflect rapidly, producing a wavering effect that confused sound clarity. The theater's ground plan is the precursor to the first theaters built specifically for opera. It appears that their plans developed from the U-shape but learned from the problems observed in Teatro Farnese. This leads us to the first true opera house, Teatro San Cassiano, opened in 1637 in Venice. There is no remaining building or architectural plan, and the only way to understand its structure is through written description. The original theater was a wooden semicircular structure built in 1565 by Palladio. It burned down in 1629 and was reopened to the public as an opera house in 1637. Teatro San Cassiano was a public theater, and fitting as many people inside as possible was important in making a profit. This fact, combined with the natural topography of Venice, necessitated building seating vertically to save space. The tiered seating of boxes was one of the first major transitions to the fully developed Baroque opera house. In addition to boxes in the auditorium, the orchestra was placed between the stage and the audience for the first time. Moving the orchestra closer made it easier to hear. As for the nature of the ground plan, it was probably similar to nearby contemporary theaters. San Cassiano's ground plan can be inferred by looking at that of Teatro Santi Giovanni Paolo, also in Venice. The theater opened the following year and had a U-shaped auditorium. We can reconstruct how the acoustics may have sounded in San Cassiano by taking the plan for Santi Giovanni Paolo into consideration. Assuming that the plan was U-shaped, the parallel position of the walls would have created flutter echo. However, this would have been negated by the interior decor, including wooden walls and furnishings, which are known to have been used at the time. Another acoustic factor to consider is the decoration inside of the boxes. Noble families would have owned or rented boxes for a season, and were known to decorate the box interiors themselves, with such elements as draperies, cushions, and paintings. The presence of flutter echo would have been reduced considerably by the heavily decorated boxes, which provided another layer of sound absorption. Sound waves would enter the boxes, reaching listeners, but would not reverberate back out due to the absorptive materials inside. Although San Cassiano was the first true opera house, Teatro Santi Giovanni Paolo was one of the most notable. It was remodeled in 1654 by Carlo Fontana. Beneath the auditorium plan, we can see his plan for the floor of the theater. It sloped gradually upward toward the audience, improving sightlines for those seated on the floor. The theater also had a higher ceiling above the stage, gradually sloping down above the auditorium. The slope would have created a surface for sound waves from the stage to bounce off and into the audience. After these major developments occurring in Venice, the next transition took place in Rome with the building of Teatro Tordenona. The architect was again Carlo Fontana, known for his work in Teatro Santi Giovanni Paolo. Fontana designed a horseshoe-shaped auditorium, which was used by practically all opera houses for the next 2 centuries and to the present day. He designed multiple ground plans for the theater, but when it was first erected in 1660, it followed a U-shaped plan. It was reconstructed in 1695 with Fontana's elliptical auditorium shape used for the first time. Sources do not specify Fontana's reason for this switch, but it is clear that the elliptical shape brought the angles of the boxes closer to the stage, so audiences would have a clearer view. The shape also eliminated the possibility of flutter echo, because there are no parallel walls. The horseshoe-shaped architectural plan reached its culmination in one of the most important theaters of the 18th century in Italy, Teatro La Fenice, built in 1792 in Venice. The architect, Gianantonio Selva, studied at the Venetian Academy and spent time studying ruins in Rome. His interest in antiquity is alluded to in the neoclassical facade of La Fenice, the only element that survived the major fires of 1836 due to the installation of a faulty heater, and in 1996 from arson. In Selva's design, the boxes are small and closed, creating a balance between visibility and good acoustics. The boxes allow the sound to stay mostly in the larger room, creating the proper amount of reverberation. The horseshoe-shaped plan keeps sound close to the audience by bringing viewers in the boxes closer to the stage with better sightlines. In addition, the ceiling and floor in the auditorium work together to balance sound absorption in the boxes through an oscillation system. Sound vibrations are produced in the pit by the orchestra and are transmitted first to the light and flexible floor. The sound waves then bounce from the more flexible floor to the harder surface of the ceiling, the focalization point. Clear moving sound vibrates between top and bottom and is prevented from entrapment in the boxes. Decorative materials were chosen for their acoustic benefit as well. What is present today is a reconstruction of the interior decorations from after the fire of 1836. Most of the materials used in the recent reconstruction echo those of the work done in the 19th century: paper mache, wood, and plaster. Originally, all of the painted decorations in the auditorium were done al fresco with the appropriate pigments. Today, the paintings in the auditorium are in acrylic paint on mounted canvas. Due to the pressure of reconstruction deadlines, the masonry and wooden framing were reconstructed on site, while decorations were done off-site in workshops. Aside from the aesthetic differences between the original and the reconstruction, there are few acoustic drawbacks to the different methods. Despite the non-original materials used in parts of the ceiling reconstruction, the rest of the materials remain historically accurate. Decorations are made of plaster and paper mache to absorb sound and to give resonance. Paper mache and plaster are hollow and contribute to the vibrations of sound waves. An example of these are the plaster water nymphs surrounding the ceiling. They give the illusion of white marble without any of the negative acoustic effects. This historic theater, created from Gian Antonio Selva's plan and resurrected more than once, combines many extraordinary features. The architectural plan and the interior decor materials, both specifically selected for their acoustic benefits, come together to create a unique and sophisticated building for the purpose of the equally specialized musical genre of opera, and are the culmination of centuries of growth.